Hello everyone, welcome back to On Point Politics, and today I'm going to be doing a video showing why, even though we are still 10 months roughly away from the presidential election, why the polling is still important this early on. If you guys do enjoy the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss another video that I post. Without further ado, let's get into it. And so pretty much Trump right now is leading the RCP average by 1.6 percentage points. There are a lot of polls that have him up, sometimes in like the low single digits, sometimes even mid single digits, sometimes even double digits, depending on the poll that you're looking at. Mostly single, like low to mid single digits is what you're looking at in terms of the popular vote. However, if you look at the 2020 presidential election, Biden led that aggregate by 7 points, and Trump did not lead. I believe he led one poll by Rasmussen, which tends to be a somewhat right leaning conservative pollster, back in September. And so that was really the only poll he actually led, you know, in the context between, COVID, when COVID started right around here. Past that, he only led one poll. He did a 4 point poll in Emerson. He tied in one national poll from Emerson. USA Today had him up by 3 back in December of 2019. And some of the polling was okay for him, in kind of December of 2019, January 2020. But at the end of the day, Biden led that aggregate by 7 and only won the popular vote by 4.5. And right now, Trump is currently up by 1.6. So the polls may overestimate Trump because, once again, you got to understand, in 2008, Obama was slightly underestimated, or excuse me, I think John McCain was ever so slightly underestimated. And then in 2012, Barack Obama was the incumbent and he was overly underestimated. And so the polling may or may not be this good. We kind of have to wait out and see. But the fact that Trump is even leading the RCP aggregate by 1.6 points is a clear sign that he is the favorite to win. And even though people are like, oh, well, the polls, it's 10 months early, it's just the fact that Trump has never, ever led the RCP average ever. He's never led the average before, ever. He's never led it. And so if you look at this, Trump lost the popular vote here by 4.5 percentage points, but barely lost the election in these three swing states, accumulating 43,000 votes. And if you look at my model for the presidential election, currently I have his, projected vote share from RCP. I have the swing of the popular vote. I have Biden's, approval rating according to 538 and RCP. And I have the polling averages that the last time I updated them, the 2016 results, 2020, and the swing. And it gives me this map, which has Wisconsin at a 5 point win, Michigan at 3 points, Pennsylvania at 4.5, North Carolina at 8, Georgia at almost 5, Florida at 13, Texas at 10, New Mexico at 5.5, Nevada at like 5 points. And some of these states do go down in margin. And so the thing with this is, guys, if Trump is already leading the average by 1.6, if for whatever reason the polls do catch up to Biden, which I do think that Biden will probably increase his vote share in the polling, even if Biden goes up, he'll probably only get up to like a 3.4 point average. And if the same polling miss from 2020 happens, that means the popular vote would be like minus a point Democrat, like it would be 1 point Democrat. And so if you were to apply that to this map here, even if Biden were to theoretically win the popular vote by this amount, you would still see that Trump would be in striking distance of winning the presidential election. According to the model, in Georgia, he would lose it by minus 0.10. He would lose it by minus Michigan by minus 1.4, barely lose Pennsylvania. But let's say you tie the popular vote and it is like a 4.5 victory. And this is only including Biden's popularity. And if you were to swing the popular vote 4.5 points and there's a national tie, Trump actually wins the Electoral College with a tied popular vote. Now, the reason why, if you were to make this a 4.5 popular vote victory, the reason why Biden actually does so well here is because of the fact that, first of all, the reason why he does so well here is because a lot of states like California and New York and Illinois would get slightly closer, which would cause Trump to kind of get rid of that disadvantage he has in the Electoral College. The reason why Trump can win the popular vote by 5 or lose the popular vote by 4.5 in 2020 and barely lose is because a lot of states like California, New York, and all those states had inflated margins. But now states like Illinois, New York, California are going to trend to the right. So even if Trump loses the popular vote by 3 points, he may still lose the Electoral College in that case. And so even if Trump were to lose the popular vote by like half a point, he would still end up winning the Electoral College. And so, and again, this model may not be 100% accurate. It may not be 100% accurate, but it clearly shows that Trump does have an advantage when you have him up in the popular vote by 1.6 and the swing of the popular vote is 6.1. And if you were to shift these results by over, 4.5 points to the right, if you were to shift every state 6.1 to the right, what would end up happening is all of these, because basically what I'm doing here is I'm getting the 2020 results and applying the swing of the popular vote. So these would vote over 10-point victories. Florida would be under a 10-point win, as well as Texas, Colorado would be likely, including New Mexico. And actually, I think New Mexico would even fall under the likely category. Alaska would be safe. California would be safe. Oregon, these would still be safe as well. Nevada would be a lean state. Arizona likely. Wisconsin likely. Georgia likely. Michigan would still be lean R. Pennsylvania would still be lean R as well. Virginia would become a little bit competitive. Illinois would fall down to that likely category. New York, I believe, would just be above safe. And technically, Illinois is still safe because it's over a 10-point win, though. Minnesota would get a lot closer. These states would still be over 10-point wins, but the New Hampshire would be really close. And North Carolina would be over a couple of point win. So even when you apply that swing to the 2020 election results, when you apply that 6.1 popular vote swing, you still get a Biden victory. And I think Nebraska's second district would actually be half a point. And this matches the model that we have right now and my last prediction video. Now, again, some of the states like Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, these are pretty red. For, for my liking, I feel like they would probably be a little bit closer than this. But at the end of the day, he still gets a similar victory when you swing these results by exactly 611 points to the right. So even if Trump improves like 2 or 3 points in the popular vote, he will still probably win the Electoral College based off of 2020. He could theoretically lose the popular vote by 1 point or 2 points and still win the Electoral College, because even in 2016, he lost the popular vote by 2.1 percentage points and ended up getting 306 Electoral College votes. So my model may actually even be underestimating Trump. As a matter of fact, it may even be underestimating him, but we'll see on election day what happens. But I just also wanted to point out as well that if you go to Biden's approval rating is historically low. He's at a 38% approval rating. And even compared to Donald Trump, Biden is much less popular than even Trump was on this day, which was very, very interesting. He is 4 points below Donald Trump on this day. And this was right before the coronavirus. He's below Obama, he's below Bush, he's below Ronald Reagan, below H.W. Bush. He's also below Bill Clinton. The only president that basically did slightly worse than him on this day was Carter. He's even below Gerald Ford in this poll. Richard Nixon, even below Nixon in this poll right now. Below D.R. Hasbro, below Kennedy, below Lyndon B. Johnson. He's even below Truman. So out of the past, like 10, 12 or so presidents, he is below almost all of them on his current day in office, which I believe is very, very, very interesting. You can see that. And so I just kind of want to make a quick video to show why the polls really do matter right now. Because if Trump is leading the RCP average, even if Biden gains some momentum, Biden is still at risk of losing the election. Biden's approval rating was also 52% on election day. His approval rating was at 52, and his disapproval was like at 44, like in the low 40s. And now that's basically flipped on its head plus some more. I just kind of want to do a quick video to show why the polls do matter right now. If you guys did enjoy the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss another video that I post. And I hope to see you guys very, very soon.